All right, what is up, you guys? Sage here, Sage, CEO, founder, Legacy Africa, helping entrepreneurs grow and connect all throughout Africa. More about us in the link in the description. This is Build This Sunday, episode 3. Episode 1 was about offers and value. Episode 2 was about now that you have an offer and you know what it means to add value to something, how is it that you're going to go about launching the idea? So, we're talking more about the cognitive work in the first 2 episodes. Now, we're getting a bit more practical, a bit more nitty gritty in terms of who to sell to. This is episode 3, who to sell to. Um, this list is composed of, first of all, I've produced over 2,000 pieces on this YouTube alone. And as you can see, it's not all fluff content. It's not content that you can just pick up off the top of your head. It's substance. And the reason why I can produce at such volume of so much substance is because I consume a lot of content from those brilliant people who are alive with us today and who are no longer with us. Talking about your legendary Charlie Munger, talking about um, Napoleon Hill, talking about all the greats, current people, Alex Hormozi, Patrick Bet-David, um, various entrepreneurs. Charlie Branson, I made a video on last week, and so on and so forth. And so from all of these ideas, I take some of the nuggets that I see they all agree on, the patterns that I recognize, and these are what I am delivering here. And these are not only things that I have observed, but have worked for me in some of my most successful launches, literally in the order that I'm putting it out. And so, yeah, episode 3, who to sell to. Number 1 is to sell to people who are already buying. When you're new in a market, you don't really have a true grasp and understanding of what it means to generate and create demand. And so when you find people who already have a problem, understand that they have a problem and are paying to have that problem solved, then you're going to be competing on value and positioning. You're not necessarily trying to get people to believe that they have the problem to begin with. That's just one less problem for you to worry about as you're beginning your venture. Second, you sell to people whose pain is urgent and costly. The reason for that is because urgency compresses the time to make the decisions, right? And expensive problems justify expensive solutions. So again, we want it to be urgent and costly. Essentially, whatever the problem is that you want to solve, you want it to be something that people are already willing to pay a lot of money for. So you found now a market where people are already willing to pay money, a lot of money for something, and you're competing on value and positioning and not making people believe that this thing is actually valued what you think it's valued. Okay. So you found these people who have this problem. The problem should be urgent and costly. A bleeding wound. Meaning what? I'm currently losing a lot of money because I have this problem, and I urgently need to fix it in order for me to continue down the path that I've laid out for myself. For me to best continue, this problem needs to be fixed, right? Okay. And again, expensive problems justify expensive solutions. Meaning, if this problem is already costing me a lot of money, I'll be willing to pay a lot of money to make it go away forever. Third, you sell to people who have the money and permission to spend it. Why? The ideal buyer has A, purchasing power, B, authority, C, low friction to say yes. And so all three of those things are very, very important. They have to have the money. That's what we've identified initially. Okay, this person's already buying, they have a pain, it's urgent, it's costly, which means they're paying a lot of money for not having the solution, which means they have a lot of money to use. Okay, cool. They have the money, they have the purchasing power. Authority. It's very important that these people don't have the constraints. If there is another person who has the decision making power in the situation, say they don't have the full authority to do what you want them to do, then it is very important that before you sell, before you get to the point where you're going for the jugular, so to speak, or the point where you are now trying to create or facilitate the transaction, you make sure all the key decision makers are involved as you transfer the information. That's very, very important. And then lastly, low friction to say yes. And so when you create that environment, when you put the person in power present, you put the person that you may have come in contact with initially, if those two people are not the same people, they're all present, that decreases the friction, that decreases them being able to say yes. Meaning what? They can both agree now, say yes now. If you convince this person, and in order for you to make the sale, this person has to go present your idea as well as and as articulately and as well timed as you have to the actual authority or decision maker in the situation, that decreases your chances of success. Fourth, you sell to a market that is easy to find and reach. If you can't reliably get in front of them, then you don't have a business. That's a quote from Alex Hormozi. If you can't reliably get in front of them, you don't have a business. You need to sell to a market that's easy to find and easy to reach. The reason why for this is because distribution matters more than idea quality. You need to be able to get the thing into the hands of the people who need it, period. And it's a done beats perfect every time type scenario, where if you have a product, you can get it into the hands of the people who have the previous things that we've discussed, then they will purchase, period. You know, regardless of how good your idea is, if you don't know how to find your people, there's nothing there, there's nothing to be gotten. So it's very, very important that you have distribution, and hard to reach markets kill momentum. And finally, you want a market that already gathers somewhere. So some examples of this are gyms, business owners, niche operators. Say, for example, you create a service that is specifically for doctors, for lawyers, for whatever, whatever the title is that is ascribed to your group. There should be a title ascribed to your group, and there should be a type of person that is going to convene, move towards, be found in specific places. That just makes it easier for you to find them, and easier to become more visible to them by approaching their spaces and speaking their language. And you can speak more directly to the pain points of the person if you know exactly who they are and what they do and what they need from you. Finally, number 5, you sell to people who value results. This is arguably the most important one. I mean, they're all important because without any of the other ones, each becomes less potent, less powerful, less relevant. But once you've ticked off the other boxes, this is one that will literally take you over the edge. This one will take you over the edge. This one will take you to a different position than you've ever been before, which is sell to people who value results. If you sell to emotional markets, if you sell to people who buy impulsively, if you sell to people who are not metric driven, are not with you because you're the best at what you do, those will tend to churn out more quickly. They'll tend to move to a different provider on a whim. They tend to be more spontaneous, less reliable. So if you want reliable people to work with on a long term, then you need to look for that and make that your archetype, make that your avatar, make that the person that you're looking to work with. All right. Because markets that track outcomes care about ROI and they reward execution. These buyers stay longer and they pay more. So, give you a brief synopsis, go back over it. Who to sell to: people who are already buying. Sell to people with urgent pain that is costly. You sell to people who have money and permission to spend it. Sell to people who are easy to find and reach. And you sell to people who value results. These notes are available to you. If you go to Legacy Africa, you hit us up on Instagram and you comment the word notes on our most recent post, or you DM us the word notes, whichever you prefer from those, then I can send you the notes from these. There's a 24-hour period in which you can redeem that. There's a 24-hour period in which you can redeem that. So if you comment notes on any Legacy Africa post within the next 24 hours, I will send you those actual notes that I hand wrote. Um, Ultimately, to close this out, once you know what it is that you want to sell, once you understand the mechanics of how you can actually create a vehicle and make it sustainable, then you need to have the right person to sell to. And with that is you need to know who not to sell to. That's why I briefly mentioned emotional buyers. I briefly mentioned people without authority. People, so basically anything that I mentioned here, anyone that is the opposite, you don't want as a customer. And that's what you don't understand in the very beginning of business. I know this because I've been there. I've started and failed multiple companies before Legacy Africa. There are certain people you just don't want as customers. I know it's a very exciting thing to see people making payments, people being a part of the thing, believing in the thing, and that feels like the ultimate to you. But I promise you, there is nothing that will crush your dreams and crush your esteem and your belief in what you're doing more than working with someone that this thing isn't for, because it's not going to work for them as well as it would for the right person. And so you see better results, they see better results, you get paid more and for longer. They want to pay you more and for longer because they're benefiting so much from whatever you have going on, if you just are patient enough to find the right people and make that your core, run with those winners, and everyone wins. Don't want to keep you too long. Thank you for watching Legacy Africa, my entrepreneurs, my builders. The link is in the description. Tap in with us. We have a bunch of free tools, a bunch of really useful things that are created specifically for you to help you with your thing. Absolutely no charge. If you did in fact enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.